a Red Hat Open Source Day 2014, Impresa City incontra Werner Knoblich, Senior Vice President e General Manager di Red Hat Emea. Good morning. This morning, in the plenary session, you said that the future has never been so open. Could you explain us market dynamics and also the role of the open source?
So the market dynamics is that there is more and more demand is driving on business through digitization, web scale IT, mobility, and so on. And I said that the world has never been so open because open source and open standard play an essential role in this kind of now dynamic environment. When you see where's the innovation today happening, a lot of the innovation is happening in open source communities. Examples of this is like OpenStack as the kind of becoming more and more a default platform for infrastructure as a service for being a cloud provider or building a private cloud, which is an open source project. Containerization is a new trend, again, is an open source project, in the form of Docker and so on. So a lot of the innovation is happening in open source communities. That's why I'm saying the world has never been so open.
You said also that every organization must have a digital agenda to transform their organizations, and also CIO have to recognize that in the company there are model IT. Could you emphasize this concept?
Yeah, first of all, nowadays through the digitalization, whole industries get disrupted. Okay, so if somebody has not a digital agenda, they have the risk that they will get disrupted by somebody else. Good examples are Airbnb or Uber, to just mention two, or Netflix. When I refer to bimodal IT, it is the fact that on one side, IT still has to manage the traditional environment, of their existing infrastructure, where they have whatever their back-end ERP system and so on, which they need to keep in this traditional environment, and they need to maintain this more efficient in a more standard way. But it still will stay for many years to come. But then there is this new way of IT, especially in the cloud scenario, where now it's much more about speed and agility and also dealing with uncertainty, and where you need a different kind of talent and you need different kind of approaches. That's why you need this bimodal IT, where the mode one is managing the existing traditional environment, and then managing the new world with the different goals. So it's important to recognize it's truly different and have the different talent and different tool sets for it.
You mentioned cloud also. The company have to solve the innovation gap with the open hybrid cloud approach for Red Hat. Could you summarize this?
Yeah, the open hybrid cloud approach is at the end the solution to live in these two worlds, to live in the traditional world, which is characterized by physical assets and traditional virtualized assets, and at the same time help the transition into this cloud paradigm, but still coexist and allow portability between these different worlds, and allow to manage the whole environment as if it would be one. So that this is our approach of saying it's an open hybrid cloud. Hybrid because it's the old world together with the new world, and open because open source and open standards are the solution for it.
Do you have some recommendation for CEO in the journey of open source?
The recommendation is to really get much more also into the open source communities, and what is a clear trend that also now companies more and more contribute themselves to open source projects. So it's not just that Red Hat is contributing to open source projects, or IBM and HP and SAP and so on. We see now more and more end customers, allowing their own developers to contribute in open source communities to, on one side, accelerate the development of certain products which they require, and on the other side, to also attract the right developers, because developers of today, the top talent, they want to work in open projects, in open source community projects.